variables called terms. Okay? Standard form of a polynomial. Standard form of a polynomial is ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay? It goes, okay, so it goes in numerical order, so highest exponent for all, no, okay, so, sorry. So we start, it's in alphabetical order. And get your head off your desk. Okay, this shouldn't be an everyday thing. Alright, alphabetical order. Highest exponent to lowest exponent. Or in some cases, no exponent at all. Okay, so this is an example of a polynomial in standard form. 2x cubed plus 5x squared minus 4x plus 7. Okay? All these guys are called terms. Everything that's separated by a plus or a minus sign is called a term. Okay? The highest exponent is called the degree. Okay? So what we do is we classify these things by the degree and the number of terms. Okay? So this guy, what's my highest exponent? 3. Yep, the 3 is my highest exponent. Okay, so if I classify it by degree, it is cubic. And then how many terms are there? 4. So we would call it a cubic polynomial. Okay, if there's only 3 terms, it's a trinomial. 2 terms is a binomial. And 1 term is a monomial. Okay. Alright, so if we are going to classify these guys. Alright, so what's my highest exponent, number 1? Is it a 1? 0. Because I would have like x to the 0 power, right? So this, if I classify it by degree, is a constant. So anytime you just have a number by itself, it's going to be a constant. And how many terms are there? 1. So it's a constant monomial, yeah? Okay, number 2, the highest exponent? No, 1. It's x to the first power. So that makes it linear. Is it a binomial? Are there 2 terms? No, there's still just 1 term, so it's a monomial again, yep. Okay, number 3, highest exponent is 1, so it's linear again. Only this time, how many terms are there? 2 terms, so that makes it a binomial, yep. Okay, number 4, highest exponent? 2, so that makes it a quadratic, yep. And how many terms? 3 terms, so a quadratic trinomial, yep, good job. Okay, number 5, highest exponent? 3, so that makes it a cubic binomial, yep, because there's 2 terms. Okay, and then in number 6, 4 degrees, so that makes it a quartic. And there's 4 or more terms, so it's just a quartic polynomial. So anytime you have 4 or more, right click. No, there we go. Okay. Anything over a 4th degree, we would just say, like, if it was like 7x to the 6th power, we would just say 6th degree. Okay. After that, we just name it as the degree that it is. Okay. And there's those special names after 4. All right. So writing these guys in standard form. Okay. Alphabetical order. Highest exponent first. So number 7, what has to come first? 2x squared comes first. Then what? Plus 3x. How did you know that it was going to be a plus 3x and not a minus? Yeah, because it's a positive. And then what? Plus 1. Good. Okay. Number 8, what would come first? Good. 7x cubed plus x squared. There you go. Minus x, because there's a minus sign in front of that one. Plus 64. Good. Questions so far? You doing okay? All right. So what's wrong with number 9? Yep, we're starting with what? X cubed plus 5x squared. There you go, minus x plus 28. There you go, negative x cubed plus x plus 24, yep. All right, so now it's good stuff, right? So we remember, okay, so alphabetical order, so we're doing all the what first? We're doing all the A's first. So highest degree of A is A cubed. Next highest A would be, yep, so plus 5a squared b squared. Then what? Yeah, plus 2ab, because we still have an a there. And minus 2b cubed, yep. Okay, so we had to do all the a's first, and then go on to the b's, because first priority is alphabetical order. Okay, so in 12, what are we starting with? Negative x cubed. 7x squared y squared. Then what? Plus 5y cubed, and at the very end is where we stick our constants. And anytime we have just a number by itself, okay, that's what we call a constant. Okay? All right, so now we need to add and subtract these guys. Okay? Remember that we can only add and subtract like terms. Okay, so our variable has to be the same and our exponent has to be the same. Okay, so on this example 1, and we're always, remember, going to start with our highest exponent. So what am I adding together first? Yep, so I'm going to combine negative 2x squared plus 3x squared and get, yep, so just have x squared or 1x squared. Okay, yep, all right, so then I'm going to 18x plus negative 8x gives me plus or minus? Plus 10x, yep. And then what? So plus 15 plus, is that a negative 10 or a plus 10? Oh yeah, so plus a negative 10 gives me plus 5. And this guy is going to be my answer. Okay, done at that point. All right, we really have to put, yes? We're combining like terms. Yep, but making sure that it stays in standard form. Yep. So when we're subtracting, we gotta be careful. Okay? Because, all right, so I'm going 6x squared and doing what? Minus what? 3x squared and getting 3x squared. Yep, so I'm going 6x squared minus 3x squared. Okay, now I've got 7x minus 10x gives me minus 3x. Yes.
Wait, why is it negative 3x or negative 3x or not supposed to add it?
No, because there's a minus on there. So we're minusing. Okay, everything from over here to over here we gotta subtract. Okay, now this is where you have to be careful because is there anything over here to combine with 2? No, but you have to be careful because that makes it a 0 minus 2 gives me negative 2. So we really got to be careful with that one. Okay? Do we want to go through all these that are on the bottom? Or do you think we can handle adding and subtracting? Let's do a couple. All right, so let's talk about, I want to do a couple of subtraction ones. Let's look at number 5. All right, so what am I starting with? All right, so x squared minus x squared. What's it give us? Doesn't give us anything. Yep, 0. 6x minus 6x. 0. And negative 4, this is where you have to be careful because it's negative 4 minus negative 4. Negative 4 minus negative 4. Sometimes maybe you have to write it out. What happens when you have a minus a negative? Turns into a plus, and we have 0 again. So my whole answer for this guy was 0 because everything turned out to be 0. Okay. Take a look at number 12. Okay, so if we do 12, I'm taking 3x squared minus what? 8x squared and getting negative 5x squared. All right, so now my x's, what am I doing with my x's? X minus 4x gives me negative 3x. And then what? Negative 4 minus negative 6. What happens when I subtract the negative? Turns into a plus. So it's really negative 4 plus 6. We get positive or negative. So plus 2 at the end. Okay, so be careful when you are